In this video, we will do a summary of the semi-annual investor call of Pabrai Wagon's fund. This is the fund of Mohnish Pabrai from September 2024. So twice per year, they have a call with investors, with analysts. There are some great questions and the call is 1 hour long. So if you don't have the time to watch the call, to listen to the call, here is the summary. I have some notes for you. At the beginning of the call, they talk about the fund. Pabrai Wagon's fund was launched 1 year ago in September 2023, and the fund strategy is to invest in high quality businesses at a significant discount to their intrinsic value. I have a quote: "We look for great franchises that are being offered at a substantial discount. Once high conviction investments are made, the goal is to hold them for the long term. Special situations like merger arbitrage are considered when the odds of success are high." So the core investments, the core idea behind this fund is to invest in high quality businesses at a cheap price for the long term. You have some things here and there, but that's the core operations of the fund. And they don't have geographical constraints. They are rich. They have 27 securities in regions such as Turkey, the USA, Canada, Europe, China, and Mongolia. Fun fact for Mongolia, it's a coal mine. It's a coal company in Mongolia. The fund seeks opportunities globally wherever they can be found. So that's great. They have the choice. They have a lot of opportunities and they look globally where the best investments are. And the fund is highly concentrated with the top 5 positions making up 45% of the total portfolio. Top 5% are half of the portfolio. This concentration reflects the fund's focus on its highest conviction ideas. And speaking of highest conviction ideas, here are the core allocations of the portfolio. So 94% of the portfolio. First, we have the Turkish businesses. So that's 1/3 of the portfolio is based in Turkey. Turkish businesses. You have Coca-Cola ISEC, TAV Airports, Anadolu Efes, focus on strong brands and essential infrastructure. You also have US coal businesses. So that's maybe 20-25% of the portfolio. So metallurgical coal and thermal coal, taking advantage of underappreciated coal companies that are misunderstood by the market. Also in the portfolio, you have 20%, I would say 25% global US car dealerships, selected based on their ability to generate high cash flows. Mohnish Pabrai thinks that these small car dealerships are underestimated, undervalued, misunderstood by the market, and he thinks that there is a lot of opportunity in this niche industry. Also in the portfolio, you have some US home builders focusing on companies that benefit from structural housing shortages in the US and are well managed. Okay, now let's talk about the performance. The fund is 1 year old, and since inception, the fund performance has been, let's say, 22% compared to the S&P 500 in the same period of plus 33%. So underperformance. But Mohnish Pabrai says we are very bullish on the fund's prospects from there. The goal is to invest for the long term, so I think they don't mind the short-term underperformance. They want to invest in highly conviction bets, high quality businesses for the long term. So they don't care much about the short-term performance. They want to invest for 5 years, 10 years. Okay, and the pitch of the fund is in comparison to the S&P 500. Why they created this fund is with these highly selected bets, niche bets, is that if you look at the S&P 500 right now, the PE ratio of the S&P 500 is 27, much higher than its historical average of 16. Comparatively, the Pabrai Wagon's fund portfolio trades at a PE ratio of 7, making it more attractively valued. While the S&P 500 has historically been a great choice for long-term compounding, buying into it at a trailing PE of 25 can be risky. So Mohnish Pabrai thinks that you can have a better performance if you are a great stock picker and you find selected ideas, selected businesses that will grow long-term. High quality businesses, but at a cheap price for the long term. This is how you outperform, and this is why they have this fund. Okay, so now we have some questions, and the first question is for Coca-Cola ISEC. So the investment is in Turkey. I think that's a Turkish bottler of Coca-Cola. Investment thesis. Despite facing boycotts in some predominantly Muslim countries due to the perceived ties to Israel, Coca-Cola ISEC remains a dominant player in 180 out of 200 countries. Mohnish mentioned Coca-Cola's long history of overcoming geopolitical challenges. In Dubai, Coke was banned for a time but has been freely available for decades now. Yes, there was a question about the growth prospects of Coca-Cola ISEC and given the geopolitical tensions. And Mohnish Pabrai basically said that Coca-Cola is a strong brand, available almost everywhere. They are very good at what they do, and it doesn't matter. This is just short-term constraints. This is just a short-term temporary problem that the company has, and in the long term, this company will grow. They are available almost everywhere. And for example, Coca-Cola ISEC recently expanded into Uzbekistan, acquiring bottling rights at a seemingly high price, but the investment has quadrupled earnings within just 2 years. This demonstrates the long-term potential of the brand even in challenging markets. Our bet is partially on what CEO Karim can do with their existing footprint. The brand of Coca-Cola is so good that they don't care about the short-term headwinds that you may have, geopolitically speaking, or even the current inflation environment or any environment. The brand is so good that they will manage to do some great work in the future. The next question was about their coal investments. The fund holds Consol Energy. The ticker symbol is CEIX if you want to check it out. And other coal companies. Yeah, they also have AMR, Alpha Metallurgical Coal, and other coal companies. These investments were chosen because coal companies were priced as if they were going out of business, offering what Mohnish describes as extremely undervalued opportunities. Yes, absolutely. Consol Energy forward sells almost 100% of its production for the next 12 months, reducing the risk of price volatility. Yeah, the way they work, it could be Consol Energy, but also AMR or also other coal companies. They have contracts for forward price. The volume they will sell next year is fixed. The price is fixed. So you know in advance how much, how many tons, how many volume you will sell, and you know the price. There are commitments. So how do you say it? Contracts that you know in advance. So it's quite easy to forecast what the future cash flow will be for these businesses because you have fixed contracts at a fixed price, at a fixed volume. And it has been the case for years. So you literally can do a quick DCF in your mind, a quick discounted cash flow, and estimate what the future free cash flow will be for the business. And if you do the job right, you can take advantage of this volatility in the short term. Mohnish noted the asymmetry in the coal market. Once a mine shuts down due to low prices, it is difficult to bring it back online. This creates supply constraints and can drive prices up sharply in the future. Yes, the coal industry is hated. This is a 4-letter word, and there is a lot of asymmetry and misunderstanding in this industry. And he says that, for example, some companies in the portfolio, I'm thinking of AMR, are low-cost producers of coal. So in case the price of coal decreases, and so the raw material, the commodity price decreases, a lot of mines will have to shut down because that's not profitable. They will have to fire employees. But if you are a low-cost producer, you will survive. And if or when the commodity prices rebounds and coal prices rebound, you will benefit strongly. You will have a huge tailwind, and you will be the sole producer of coal. Maybe you will be the only low-cost producer. So this creates a huge asymmetry in case of volatility in the commodity price, and this is what Mohnish Pabrai sees in these investments in coal. We stress tested these businesses under various scenarios, including weak prices, and concluded that they remain strong long-term bets. This is the famous quote from Mohnish Pabrai: heads I win, tail I don't lose much. In case we have a strong recession and commodity prices go to the floor, if you are the low-cost producer, you have a high chance of surviving, so you don't lose much. And if the coal market evolves, if the coal prices move up a lot, you will benefit strongly because your earnings are correlated to the price of coal. So heads I win, tails I don't lose much, and there is a huge asymmetry, and Mohnish Pabrai sees a lot of potential in these coal companies that everybody hates. So these are cheap stocks at the moment, and big potential. The next question is also related to coal, the coal industry. This is about the merger of Arch Resources and Consol Energy. The merger reduces the risk of cash flow stress in the future and strengthens both companies. These are two coal companies. The combined entity could generate $500 million to $1 billion in cash flow annually, allowing it to buy back 10 to 20% of its shares every year, a strong sign of value creation for shareholders. Let me say it again so you understand how strong it could be. The combined entity could generate $500 million to $1 billion in cash flow annually, allowing it to buy back 10 to 20% of its shares every year. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. As a shareholder, you would love to have 10% buyback every year, 20% buyback every year. If you have a strong balance sheet, a lot of cash, you can do this. If you have some strong cash flow generation, you can create some enormous value for shareholders with these heavy buybacks. So you have an untapped potential that could be a quick double, a quick triple for these coal stocks. So again, a lot of asymmetry, a lot of potential returns, and huge opportunity here. This is a spectacular situation, and we think it's a worthwhile bet for us to keep. Yes, I completely agree with Mohnish Pabrai here. Now Mohnish Pabrai talks about Nvidia and the AI boom. The fund has no investment in Nvidia despite the AI boom. Mohnish believes Nvidia's valuation at a market cap of almost $3 trillion is too high to justify based on expected future cash flows. Yeah, he says that the free cash flow of Nvidia is right now $60 billion, if I remember correctly. So if the market cap of the company was $600 billion, you have a price to free cash flow of 10, which is decent. That could be fairly valued or cheap given the growth. But now the price is so high with a market cap of $2.8 trillion that it's hard to justify these high prices. Because yes, we've had a lot of growth in the past, free cash flow growth, but there is a lot of uncertainty regarding the growth in the future for this free cash flow. So they don't know if they will produce a lot of free cash flow in the future. They don't know if the exponential growth will continue, and that is the reason why they didn't invest in Nvidia. I would need conviction that Nvidia can generate $200 billion to $500 billion in cash flow annually for it to be a bargain. I don't have that conviction. And what is really interesting is that here, just after this, Mohnish referenced Schlumberger as a cautionary tale, drawing parallels between Schlumberger's boom in the 80s and Nvidia's current growth. He talks about a company in the oil industry, I think, if I remember correctly. Anyway, that was a company, Schlumberger, in the 80s that experienced the same exponential growth that Nvidia is currently experiencing. And he said that if you had invested after this beginning of exponential growth, you would not have made a lot of money in the stock market. The bubble collapsed a little bit and the business was still good, but it's just the expectations were too high. So on overall, regarding Nvidia, the free cash flow has been growing nicely, but if you bet on Nvidia right now, it means you believe the exponential growth will continue. And he has no conviction is that in this scenario. Maybe competition will come, maybe the industry will change. Mohnish Pabrai doesn't know if the earnings of Nvidia will continue exponentially or flatten out or decrease because of competition. Nobody knows. And because of this high uncertainty, this high uncertainty situation, Mohnish Pabrai will not invest in Nvidia with this valuation, with this high valuation of market cap of $3 trillion. But something he's interested in is home builder investments. Mohnish Pabrai highlighted the US housing shortage, estimated to be over 5 million homes. This structural issue makes home builders like Pult or Toll Brothers very interesting. Okay, and he said something about the great financial crisis. So a lot of homes were built in 2006, 2007, and after the great financial crisis in 2008, there was a lack of interest in building new homes. I don't know if how the environment has changed. People were fearful of this industry, but there is a strong shortage of homes in the US. There is a lack of homes in the US. So there is a supply and demand gap here. These companies, these home builders, have consolidated their market share and benefit from economies of scale, allowing them to borrow at lower rates than smaller competitors. The large national players have a structural advantage over smaller players due to better access to capital and lower production costs. So he says basically that if you want to invest in this housing shortage, supply and demand gap, don't bet on small companies, bet on the large ones, because they have been doing this for decades. They know what they're doing. They have a proven track record. They have been profitable for years, if not decades before. They have a strong management, a strong vision. They know the geographical areas very well, and they have huge economies of scales. And they are being misunderstood by the market. So they are trading at a rather cheap price. So industry speaking, you have a supply and demand gap, so strong potential. And inside this industry, Mohnish Pabrai prefers national players with a proven track record, a proven business model that makes money. That is the reason they have some home builders in their portfolio. Now we're going to talk about the biggest part of their portfolio, the Turkish investments. Top 3 positions in the fund are in Turkey, representing 1/3 of the portfolio. Investments in TAV Airports, Anadolu Efes, and Coca-Cola ISEC are considered high conviction bets with strong management, solid franchise value, and substantial cash flow generation. These are the highest conviction bets we have in the portfolio. I've been following this fund for a couple of months, well, since inception actually, for 1 year, and every time these convictions bets were there. So I don't think he has sold some of the Turkish holdings. These are great companies with great management, great financials, great growth. The stock price is moving nicely. And yeah, Mohnish Pabrai seems to like it. Still like it now, even after the run-up of the stock price. So that could be very interesting to go deeper if you want to go and do your own due diligence. And the last question was about Danaos Corporation. This is a shipping company in Greece. This is a special situation investment. The company has locked-in cash flows that make it undervalued by the market. Danaos benefits from global shipping disruptions, such as the Suez Canal blockage, which has increased demand for shipping. Yeah, I don't know this company. I didn't know this company. This is the last question of the call, Danaos Corporation. And they have a small investment in Greece. This is a shipping company, and you have a supply and demand gap with disruptions in shipping companies. So because of geopolitical tensions or supply chain issues, these shipping companies can make a lot of money because of disruptions. And apparently, Mohnish Pabrai sees a special situation, a good investment opportunity with Danaos Corporation, which is a small company in Greece. And that's it for this call. I hope you've liked it. If you want more summaries like this, you can like this video and subscribe to this channel. Have a good day.